It was a chilly autumn night in the jungle, and Baby Bunny lay snuggled up under his blanket in his cozy burrow. He had spent the day playing with his friends, enjoying every minute of the crisp, fresh air and the leaves crunching beneath his paws. After a big dinner, he'd slipped into bed, expecting to fall into a deep, peaceful sleep. But as the darkness settled around the burrow and the gentle sounds of the night filled the air, Baby Bunny found himself feeling restless. Just as he was about to close his eyes, a strange noise echoed from outside his window. Rustle, rustle, creak. Baby Bunny's eyes shot open. His heart started to pound, and his big, soft ears perked up, straining to catch the sound again. The wind outside howled softly, making the tree branches sway. But in the stillness of his burrow, the noise sounded far more mysterious and eerie. What could that be? Baby Bunny whispered to himself, pulling his blanket up to his nose. His imagination began to run wild. He pictured a large, shadowy creature lurking just outside his window, its eyes gleaming in the darkness, waiting to pounce. Or perhaps it was a ghost, gliding silently through the trees, rattling the branches and leaves. The more he thought about it, the more nervous he became. Baby Bunny tossed and turned, unable to calm his mind. Every little sound seemed amplified in the quiet night, from the soft sigh of the wind to the occasional hoot of an owl. His heart thumped harder with every rustle, creak, and scratch, and his eyes darted around the room, catching shadows that looked like monster shapes against the walls. What if it's something dangerous, he muttered, his voice trembling. Or something scary. He curled up tighter under his blanket, trying to make himself feel safe, but the strange noises persisted. Finally, he decided he couldn't face his fears alone. He needed his friend Carvey. Carefully, Baby Bunny slipped out of bed, his tiny paws padding softly across the floor of his burrow. He peeked out the entrance, shivering as a cool gust of wind blew past, carrying with it the night's mysterious sounds. Summoning his courage, he hopped over to Carvey's burrow just a few trees away. Knock knock. Carvey, he whispered through the door. Are you awake? After a moment, Carvey opened the door, rubbing his eyes sleepily. Baby Bunny? What's going on? He asked, stifling a yawn. There's something outside, Baby Bunny whispered, his eyes wide. I keep hearing strange noises, and it's scaring me. I thought maybe we could check it out together. Carvey blinked, slowly waking up. He could see the worry in Baby Bunny's face and nodded. All right, I'll go with you. Maybe it's not as scary as it seems, he said, trying to sound confident even though he felt a bit nervous himself. Armed with a small lantern that Carvey grabbed from his burrow, the two friends set off, stepping cautiously into the cool night. The trees loomed high above them, their branches twisting in the moonlight, casting long shadows on the ground. Baby Bunny clutched Carvey's paw tightly, feeling braver with his friend by his side. As they walked, the noises seemed to grow louder. Rustle, creak, whisper. There it is. Again. Baby Bunny whispered, his ears twitching. Carvey took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Let's see if we can find out where it's coming from, he said, his voice a little shaky. They followed the sounds, walking carefully through the tall grass and underbrush. The shadows danced around them, making Baby Bunny's imagination flare up once more. He pictured all kinds of scary creatures lurking behind the trees, waiting to jump out at them. But Carvey squeezed his paw gently, grounding him. We're together, remember, he said with a reassuring smile. If there's anything out there, we'll face it together. Baby Bunny nodded, feeling a surge of courage. The two friends pressed on, determined to solve the mystery. As they moved closer to the source of the noise, they noticed the wind picking up, rustling through the leaves above. The trees creaked and groaned as the branches swayed, and the leaves crackled in the breeze. Baby Bunny and Kavi looked up, realizing that most of the sounds were coming from the wind pushing the branches against each other. Kavi chuckled, the tension melting away. Baby Bunny, I think it's just the wind moving the trees. Baby Bunny blinked, looking around as the realization sank in. You're right, he said, feeling a wave of relief. All those scary sounds were just nature. They laughed together, feeling a bit silly for having been so frightened. But they weren't done yet. The adventure had made them curious, and they wanted to explore a little more. As they walked, Baby Bunny and Kavi noticed more details they hadn't seen before. The moonlight painted silver streaks on the leaves, and little stars twinkled between the branches. The night no longer felt eerie. Instead, it seemed peaceful and magical, filled with soft rustling, gentle whispers of the wind, and the occasional hoot of an owl. They paused by a patch of flowers that glowed in the moonlight, and Kavi picked one, handing it to Baby Bunny. This night isn't scary at all, Baby Bunny said, smiling as he held the delicate flower. It's actually kind of beautiful. Kavi nodded, looking up at the stars. Sometimes things seem scarier in our minds than they actually are. I'm glad we checked it out together. Feeling emboldened, they continued exploring the woods, now laughing at every little sound that had once frightened them. The breeze seemed to carry a gentle tune, and they danced a bit under the trees, enjoying their magical night. After a while, the friends decided it was time to return to their burrows. As they walked back, Baby Bunny felt a sense of pride and courage he hadn't felt before. Facing his fears had been hard, but doing it with Kavi by his side had made it not just bearable but enjoyable. They reached Baby Bunny's burrow, and he turned to Kavi, giving him a big hug. Thanks, Kavi. I couldn't have done it without you, he said sincerely. Kavi hugged him back, grinning. Anytime, Baby Bunny. We're in this together, remember? They said their goodnights, and Baby Bunny slipped back into his burrow. As he snuggled under his blanket, the strange noises from outside no longer felt scary. In fact, they reminded him of the adventure he'd just shared with Kavi. He fell asleep with a smile, knowing he had a friend who would always be there to help him face his fears.